Hello, my name is Carl Meyer. It's September 11th, and we all understand the significance of this date. Um, Bear with me. I'd like to share something with you. Take a few moments. First of all, I've illustrated and written a children's book about this called The Men of Fire, and we'll get to that in a minute. How this came about on September 11th, when I watched September 11th unfold, I was sitting in the hospice waiting for my older brother Randy to pass of cancer. He was a Vietnam vet, and he died at 54. And we know it was through Agent Orange, but you know the VA is not going to copy that. But here's this is about 20 years old. This family photo. Here's a picture of our brother Randy. And he was supposed to die on the 10th. So the physician said he'll for sure die on the 11th. But knowing him, he's like a little bulldog. He just hung on till the 12th. But it was almost no sooner than the clock go like this, he passed. This last September 11th, 2015, my younger brother Rick at age 59, again this photo is about 25 years old, I got a phone call at 10:30 in the morning. He had died of a massive heart attack. That's two brothers 15 years apart on September 11th. In 2009, I had a massive heart attack, and I flatlined. I died in my own home, and I flatlined for over 4 minutes. Just so happened the fire department was about 5 minutes away. The paramedic was going to go on another call. It just happened to be there. They came over. They popped me back to life. I was in a coma for 2 days, and I was in the hospital for 2 weeks before they could stabilize me, and I had to have an open heart quadruple bypass operation. If it wasn't for the quick work of the fire department, I would not be here. But this had this gnawing. Something was coming out of me. Now, I've written poems and short stories just for myself, never published anything. It's just what I do, off and on. And I wrote this poem. So let me just recite the poem very quickly, and then I'll show you this and how this came about. So I write this poem, and thinking that was it. It's called The Men of Fire. September 11, 2001 was the day America changed. Our country attacked and our thoughts rearranged. Through the smoke, fire, agony, and pain, there's one thing that stays constant and will always be the same. It's American as apple pie and will never be altered, an immovable object solid as the Rock of Gibraltar. Day to day, these men of steel who put their lives on the line may think nothing of it, but they're truly one of a kind. Saving people's lives with teamwork and the courage to bond, never thinking of themselves, they were the first to respond. The perilous task they faced that day would make a grown man cry, never faltering, staring doom straight in the eye. As they man the charge and rush into a burning hell, human life they search for, hoping to hear a helpless whimper or yell. Up the smoke-filled stairs they claim that faithful day, only to have 343 brave souls called back home to stay. There are no words to describe how we feel about these men. I can only hope someday my son will be one of them. One day when we're watching our son graduate, as parents will be grateful we always kept the faith. Proudly he wears the uniform he so richly deserves and admires. He'll be one of the steadfast few my heart couldn't so hire. I'll probably shake his hand, for now he belongs to the Men of Fire. And quickly, I ran into a young man. He was very young at the time. He's not biologically mine, but he ended up becoming my son. I raised him. I'd like to introduce you to my son, Joe. He was burned here a few years ago. Heart cold down his back. He's burned pretty good, but no scarring. And then about a year ago, he says he almost went through a roof. So when he goes on these calls, I don't rest so well sometimes. But here's just somebody snapped a picture of him. There they are in action. And probably our favorite photo that he took. That's one of his favorite and one of mine. So, now I'd like to show you my book and what I've done. It's basically based on New York, but it's really, I dedicated the book to all the firefighters all over the world. And I have a dedication page that says, dedicated to the brave men and women who protect and serve us worldwide in those And let me show a few pages with you, and I'll let you go. I'll give you the opening page. And a few more pages. On this particular page, when I change it, instead of rushing into a burning hell, I change it, rush as they rush in under a burning spell to, I had to lighten it up for a children's book. But my first poem was what I was feeling. So here it is. Here's a picture of it. Page. And here's the second page that goes right along with it to continue the flow. And I'll give you one more. Stand up so you can see better. I have this book. I have my own copies. It's very nice. It's very wax. It's very nice. It's if you decide to get one, you might want to go through me. If you go through the publisher, they'll give you digital. I'm not doing this so much to promote the book, to sell books. What I'm trying to do is to raise enough money to where I can get it back to New York. I'm trying to get it in. I've tried desperately. It's been a tough go. A lot of roadblocks. Although I did send about 70 or 80 copies back to New York and to the fire department, and out of all the firemen that I sent and firehouses that I sent it to, one of the men was called Joseph Pfeiffer. He's a battalion chief, and he heads up the counterterrorism emergency preparedness. Well, when 9/11 hit, they're making a documentary filming outside on the New York Fire Department. Well, he happened to be there. When the plane hit the tower, he was only a couple of blocks away, and he was the first responder on the job. Out of all the thousands and thousands of firemen and policemen and emergency people in New York, he was the first one there. Well, out of all the books I've sent out all over the country, I got a phone call on October 22nd, 2015. He called me personally to thank me for my book. We talked for about 15 minutes, had a good conversation. To think about all the people, he was the first responder, and yet he was the first guy to call me to thank me, actually make a phone call to me. It showed a lot of class. He's a good guy. It made my day. It gives me strength to keep going and trying to do what I'm doing. And I want to thank you, Joseph. Hey, buddy, I'll take this one to the grave. I appreciate the call. You have no idea what you did. Anyways, if you want, anybody who's interested in a copy, you might want to go to my page, scroll down where it sees the Men of Fire. It'll tell you what to do. I've got my cell number. Give me a phone call. Even if you don't want to buy a book, just give me a phone call. Just well, that keeps me going. It'll keep me, trying to get going. I'm also writing another book on the veterans right now. But this it costs money, and that's what it's all about. So anyways, I hope someday to get it back to where if I can make enough money, I state in the book that I will donate, on my word of honor, a portion to the New York Fire Department. If I can get it in or something like that, depending on where I go. But, I don't have, it's going to take some big people to get behind me. If it happens, that's fine. If it doesn't, I did this really from the heart. This is from the heart. So I just want you people to know that I really understand September 11th. Thank you for having me.